A soldier's play, even though it's a murder mystery, gives you a look into where we've come from as a people, as soldiers. We definitely worked our way up the ranks to becoming generals, senators, and eventually president. Gil Tucker, I played the role of Sergeant Vernon Waters. Sergeant Waters I felt was a very misunderstood man. He wanted to propel his people to another height. He thought that his people had what it took to be doctors, lawyers, generals, senators, and he felt that a certain portion of his race was holding them back.
We are men, soldiers, and I don't intend to have our race cheated out of its place of honor and respect in this war because of fools like CJ.
I just tried to make sure that whatever dialogue he had, I tried to make people understand the man as opposed to just hate the man. I think that might be the difference between the way I portrayed the character as opposed to the way Adolf Caesar, who was a genius. When he did the role, people just hated him. I remember seeing his performance in a soldier story, and I hated the man. What I tried to do was, even though you hated me, I wanted you to feel for me or feel for this character when he was being killed, to understand that it wasn't just out of vengeance that he wanted to destroy these particular people. He had other things in mind. I felt the hardest scenes to do were the drunk scenes because his emotions were all over the place. One minute he was in pain, next minute he was happy, next second he was pissed off. I had to go through all of these emotions at the same time, being able to flip from one emotion to the other. This particular sergeant was actually looking forward to people like President Obama. So he was ahead of his race in that sense. In the other sense, he went about it the wrong way because he was busy hurting his people as opposed to trying to bring them into the fold the correct way. So I feel that you still have a lot of older black men that let's say were in this country, and like my father and people of his generation, they fought and they went through this whole thing where they went from slaves to colored people to Negroes to black to African American. They went through that plight, so therefore a lot of them feel upset when we as younger people don't take advantage of all of the different things that we have now, because we're a lot more free than we were then, but we are still dealing with some of the same racist garbage that they dealt with, but it's just much more subtle now. We were always treated as second-class citizens, and this play gives you a look into some of the things we went through in order to make it to where we are today.